Thank you, Josh, and thank you, everybody who's here. First of all, I'm incredibly proud and humbled to be the head coach of Louisville Volleyball. I've been here for a long time, and this place means the world to me. So what Josh talked about, it's like when this community got its hooks into us, it's like there was no way we were leaving. I mean, we were just in. So again, thank you so much. Like Josh talked on, one of the first people I thought of too was Danny. We got here 8 years ago. And, a lot of these banners weren't up, but a lot of them were. So we had a lot to build off of. But the time that I worked with Danny was some of the best coaching moments of my life. And forever grateful to her for what she set us up for in the future. Josh, Amy, President Schatzel, I appreciate you guys. I've been on the road recruiting since this has happened. It's only been a few days, but Cece and I in particular have spent quite a few hours on the road. And so many coaches have come up to me and talked about just how impressive the transition was. And it's kind of a first for volleyball, the way that it was handled. It was top notch. It was so impressive. So I'm excited to continue our relationship and then also learn from your guys' leadership, because what a first step that we've taken. So happy for that. Before I get too far though, Laurel, who's sitting up here, and it's going to be hard to look without breaking down here, but you've meant the world to me. You're the reason that we're here. I could go into the whole story of when we got offered this job, but as an assistant coach 8 years ago, and my initial response was no. And I didn't want to move. I liked where we were at. And it was Laurel who saw what this community could do for our family and wanted to raise our family there. We had one son at the time. The one sitting right next to Laurel was in her belly, 8 months pregnant. And she was that sure about what Louisville would do for our family to come here and raise a family. So she makes me such a better person, such a better coach. Marrying you is the best thing I ever did in my life. I'm going to get to you. So for my 3 boys who are up here decked out in their Adidas gear, you guys are awesome. If marrying your mom was the best thing I ever did, the funnest thing I ever get to do is watch you guys grow up. Maddox, Ryan, Hendricks, like I said, we only had one when we got here. We got 2 native Louisvillians who were born here, and you guys are awesome. I'm so glad that we get to watch you guys grow up around this program. So thank you guys. Thank you, Sonia. To the staff, and I'm actually going through the front row. Todd Chamberlain, who's sitting up front, he's the best recruiting coordinator in the country. Those of you that know our program, this is a pretty tight-knit group here. I've seen all you guys at our games and stuff. You guys know he's the personality of our program. Those of you that are tight know what I mean by that. But when I think of Todd, taking this job when Todd was on board, it was like the first exhale of like, okay, we got this. I'm so impressed with Todd as a coach. He got here 7 years ago, 1 year after Danny and I got here. And he did not have any recruiting experience per se. He wasn't known as a recruiter. He took on that job, and he went from new recruiter to, again, in my opinion, the best recruiter in the country. And it's just such an example of what this program's about, where everybody from the coaches to the players is driving to get better. And it sets such a great tone. So Todd, shortly after him, his wife Lauren, 2 kids on the way. 2 kids came, James and Lewis. And again, there's such a family environment around Louisville volleyball. We've got pretty much just boys that are growing up, but it's cool to see the families grow, and so thankful that you're on board, Todd. Cece McGraw, who I don't know where she stepped out to. She's there. She is. Which I said, Cece and I just spent pretty much 48 hours on the road, 5 cities in one day at one point. That was pretty cool. But she's one of the best young coaches in the country. Those of you that saw some matches last year saw that she's getting more and more involved in our defense, and Todd and I joke, but we're pretty serious with making sure that we're super nice to Cece, because we know we're probably going to work for her someday. They took a chance on us too. Zach, her fiance, and her came down from Minneapolis chasing the warm weather in Louisville, which I promise we have. And we're just so thankful for you guys. And then to what I think of Todd's the personality of the staff, the heartbeat of the program. She's short, I can't find her. There she is. Sarah Pekovic, who everybody knows. When I came here 7 years ago to interview for the assistant job, she picked me up at the airport in like this big long sweater. I remember that. It probably wasn't that long on you. But her warmth came through so fast, and it was like, she is the best billboard for volleyball, for Louisville volleyball that I could ever think of. Like, you meet Sarah and you know what we're about. So again, so thankful for you, her husband Sash. And then at Louisville, we want to do everything the best in the world. And so if you watch a match and somebody hits the ground and somebody's got to wipe up the sweat, we have the best floor wipers in the entire world. And that's typically Sarah's kiddos, Hyla, Beckett, and Alexana. So they developed like a cult following of how great they are wiping up the floors. And they motivate me. To our alumni, like I talked about, every day I come in here, I look at these banners and I'm proud of them. They drive me. But there were a heck of a lot of banners up here 7 years ago when I showed up. And to be able to have that success, that foundation to recruit to was invaluable. So thank you to the alumni that came before that, that's come since. You guys are awesome. You're a part of this, and we love having you guys around the program. To our players, we've had 3 great practices. It feels like it's been a whirlwind. It's been wild, but man, you guys motivate me too. You guys are just such a great example. I love, again, the families that we have around this program, and the role models that these kids get to see. You guys are awesome, and we're here for you. All we think about is you, and like we talked about the transition, it was so cool how you guys just embraced everything that was going on. I'm forever indebted to how that went. You guys are awesome. So to our players that are here, thank you guys. I see Hannah Sherman always doing this here. I kind of need to do it right now. So as far as my vision goes, this is a unique introductory press conference because I could spend the rest of this going through almost person by person and naming everyone who's here and what you've done for the program, because you all matter. We're all here because of everybody. So everybody who's here, thank you. My vision moving forward is, we've done some really good things here at Louisville. There's a joy and a love around our program and for each other, and that's not changing. That's one of the most important things to me, is that remains with the program. And my North Star, the thing that I chase is, whoever comes into this program, a manager, a player, a coach, when they get to this program, when they finish, they have more love for the game of volleyball than when they started. And I've seen that happen time and time again. And when you're focused on that, everything else seems to come into place. I take so much pride in our players leaving and loving the game as much as they've ever loved it in their life. And that's the number one thing that motivates me to be a great coach for our student athletes. So with that, I know we're going to open up for questions. So I appreciate everybody who came here today. And first question, please give me a layup because I haven't done this yet, but go Cards.
Dan, Josh mentioned the 99.1% or 99.9. What did you think about that 0.1% when he said that and when he went on his run? Kind of your thoughts?
That's the only part of that conversation I remember was 99.9, and then trying to explain that to my wife. Hey, 99.9%, I'm getting this job, so get 99.9% happy about it. But like I said, I don't remember much of the rest of the conversation because I had always. I told the team, and when we broke the news, that was a pretty intimate conversation. And without sharing too much of that, I remember telling the team that, one of the things that kept me here for so long is that I thought there was a small possibility that this could happen. I mean, Danny, I've said it recruiting, I said she's the best head coach in the country. She's got more competition now, but I've always said she's the best head coach in the country. It's a no-brainer if the top, a great job opens up, that everybody would go after her. And I thought if that ever were to happen, as small as I thought the chance was, I wanted to be here if there was an opportunity for me to serve. So when he said 99.9%, I was already thinking, if this is me, what am I going to be doing? I already started making calls and acting as if it was already going to happen. So I'm glad that 0.1% didn't come through, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But again, it was a moment I will never forget, for sure.
John Cook signed a 5-year extension in May. What was your reaction to that? Did you think that this job was not likely to come open for a long time?
I didn't know that. I didn't know exactly. I don't really follow other coaches' contracts or anything like that, especially as an assistant coach. My time here as an assistant was so engulfed in what we do with our student athletes. I probably was watching film of one of our ACC opponents. It was just tunnel vision of how to make our team better. So again, I honest to God did not know that he was on a 5-year contract when this, or 4 years maybe remaining when that happened. But I had been there. My first job was as assistant coach at Nebraska, and I would say that I was very surprised that he retired. He reminded me of somebody that I did see his press conference when he talked about I think he said burning out as opposed to fading away. And I really think he thought he did that. I mean, I thought he would just keep going and going. So, but again, for somebody that was my first job, I think he set a great example with that, of just how hard he worked, how much he gave, and that's definitely something that I took away from that. So, yeah, thank you.
Having been here, to be able to see Louisville go from a really good program into the elite program, how much joy did you get and how much drive behind it was seeing the growth from the community as well, getting these larger crowds and more involvement from the community for this program?
It was awesome. I mean, I clearly knew about the great club scene before I got here. We had been recruiting this area for a really long time, so I knew volleyball was really strong in Louisville. And when we got here, there were some changes where we went from more young center games to more LNN, and I think that was one of the biggest things was, we only sold out one match in LNN Arena, this arena, our first year. But we celebrated that like a national championship. We sold this match out. The next year it was about 4. And the next year after that, we were talking about going to the young. How many people can we get? So the community, we knew that it was ready to kind of pop for volleyball, and it was already so strong. So I think that it was just kind of, the stars really aligned with that. But again, we took it in steps where it was a huge deal to sell out this arena in 2017. And I'm so proud that we did that. And then the next year, and we were building off of that. The winning percentage in this building in particular, since we've been here the last 7 years, Nancy can probably correct me on it, is pretty astronomical. This place is really, really special. So as much as it's great to get to the Young Center because we want to give everybody an opportunity to experience Louisville volleyball, I don't think we're ever truly leaving this place right here in the immediate future. It's just, there's something